my name is Marie, welcome to my channel, and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, I'm actually back with another small business speed build in The Sims 4. Obviously, I know that my previous speed build was an Inzoi one, and I actually want to upload more Inzoi speed builds. Thank you so much, by the way, if you've watched my previous video. Thank you so much for all your sweet comments and for letting me know that you would love to see more Inzoi content. That is really good to know. So I think I'm going to try to keep some of the Inzoi builds coming. It takes me a while though to actually sit down and finish a full house in Inzoi. It just takes me a long time. Because obviously I'm just not as used to the building mechanics and just like the game in general and everything. Like the whole process is just a little bit more slow as opposed to building in The Sims because I'm way more used to that. But yeah, just so you know, thank you so much. I read all your comments and it's so fun for me to hear that you would love to see more Inzoi because it's definitely fun for me to also create some content with a different game. So yeah, all that to say that I am gonna try to upload some more Inzoi speed builds as well. But they just take a little bit of time for me to finish. But in the meantime, obviously, I still have just like my Sims 4 speed builds as well, and I am still not over the small business feature, the small business functionality, and just building all sorts of small businesses. I just love it so much, and I am still not over it. So today I'm back with another quote-unquote small business. It's functional as a small business venue, but it's obviously a very big build because we're here in the world of Nordhaven, which is, of course, the new world that came with Business and Hobbies. And there's this one kind of big lot. I think it's a 50 by 40, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the size of the lot. And I was definitely avoiding this lot because if you know me, you'll know that I just really enjoy building on smaller lots, and big lots just kind of tend to overwhelm me sometimes, and for that reason I try to like stay away from them unless I am very inspired or have a very specific idea for something that I want to use or something that I want to build and that I want to use a bigger lot for. And so I have been kind of avoiding this bigger one, which is in the world or in the neighborhood that's more industrial. It's by the harbor, it's by the water. There is more modern and also industrial types of buildings around, like renovated warehouses, stuff like that. And so for this bigger lot, I was actually asked to build something here. One of my friends and community members, she was like, okay, I'm gonna challenge you to build something on the 50 by 40 because I need a lot for that big empty area and you need to build it. So that was encouragement enough for me to actually stop avoiding this big lot and actually try to tackle it, try to build something here that's functional and fun in different ways. So that's what I decided to do. And for this big lot here, I thought to like blend it in with the world. I thought it'd be fun to build like a renovated warehouse or like factory type build that's turned into something else. And that's the vibe that we're going for here that you can pretty clearly already see. It's basically just like a big box with a bunch of windows. The amount of windows out front is very overwhelming. It took me a minute to figure that out, and I did delete a few of them to make floor planning a little bit more easier as well, and to just, you know, have it look a little bit more natural, I guess. But yeah, it definitely took me a second to like window this big box essentially that we're building, but I really like how it came together because it is going to turn out to be a art center and also a community garden. So that's the main, I guess, functionality to this build. I tried to put in a lot of different art related activities. And of course, there's also going to be a cafe because I am me. And especially when it comes to small businesses and like combined businesses, I guess, I just love the opportunity to add little cafes. I just think it's so much fun. And it just gives the lot a little bit of like, I don't know, just like a community feeling, if that makes sense. If Sims can just kind of hang out and grab a coffee and like chit chat with other Sims and like socialize a little bit. I just feel like that is so cute and just such a fun thing, like community type of activity to add to a small business, especially one like this, where it's like an art center. I imagine there to be different types of classes. That's basically what I was going for here. So yeah, and then also because the lot is so big, we definitely had more than enough space on the side to also add in a community garden. So that's what I did, and I just feel like that one turned out really fun. I've done a community garden before, I think, with just Eco Lifestyle and base game. That's a very long time ago. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. But I think that's the only community garden type thing that I've ever actually built before. So it's not something I'm very familiar with for whatever reason, but I felt like, especially in this more industrial, modern, sort of gray concrete area. I mean, there's still a lot of green here. There's a lot of grass and like trees and stuff around, but you can also tell that it's definitely more of an industrial area. So to create a little bit of contrast, I thought, especially in this area, it'd be fun to add in a nice community garden where Sims can get together and enjoy nature, or like nature, but you know, just plants and trees. And I just thought that that would be really, really cute. And I also wanted to create some sort of a rooftop garden here to make it all very like eco-friendly and sustainable, I guess, in a way. I really wanted to add in a green roof. You can see that we also have some skylights and stuff up there, but yeah, I just thought it would be a really cool contrast to have the roof be green, like a literal green roof, and I ended up placing some planters and stuff up there as well. So I guess we have two sort of community gardens on this lot, like on the roof, but then also next to the converted warehouse type of building that we're doing. So yeah, that's essentially what this is. And for gameplay purposes, there's actually a lot of activities here. We have a pottery area. Obviously, we had to add that in. There's a painting area. All the way up top, we also have a couple of flower arranging tables. I thought that would be kind of cute. They're sort of hidden all the way up there on the roof, but that is something you can do. We also have candle making. There's woodworking. We have, what else is there? There's music, right? There's music. Upstairs on the second floor, there's going to be like this really big loft kind of a situation. You'll obviously see that later once we move on to the interior. But upstairs, I have a couple of music classes. I also placed some whiteboards in there. So some of the whiteboards that came with the Businesses and Hobbies expansion. So you could potentially actually have a sim give piano lessons there. So we have one classroom that's for piano lessons. There's another classroom that's for guitar lessons. I thought that was really cute. There's also going to be a little kids art area up there as well, with a few coloring tables for children and just like some activities and games and stuff for them to do. I thought that would be so cute. It's kind of like over the loft, so it's open to the ground floor, and I thought it'd be so cute if you have like a single parent sim going to their pottery class on a random morning, or like on a Saturday morning or something like that, and they can't leave their kid at home, so they can just bring their kid over, and while the parent takes their pottery class, the kid can just go upstairs and play with the other kids and like do some art themselves. I just thought that that was so like wholesome and cute for gameplay purposes as well. So that is definitely something that I added in here as well. Here you can see I'm kind of starting on the community garden, and I thought it would be fun to add sort of like an old shipping container that sort of acts as a shed. So that's what I did. I decided to like delete the front of it. I was going to create some like open doors or whatever, but I kind of liked the idea of the shipping container to like, they just basically got rid of the front, or like got rid of the doors, and it's sort of like an open shed where they can have some storage. There's also some covered planter pots inside, so if you wanted to plant some things and have it not be affected by the weather, or if you want to do some out of season crops or whatever, you can still do that with the inside, or like quote unquote inside planters in the shed, in the shipping container. I thought that was cute. I also created a really tiny orchard with a couple of, I think they're all apple trees, so that's really nice. And obviously I just had to place a couple of planters around. Also, if you're hearing some like background noise, I'm so sorry. I am hoping it's not too bad, but there's construction going on literally outside of my apartment, and all my windows are closed, but it's always going to be a little noisy. And there's no way that I can just like kind of sit and wait for them to be done, because it's continuous. It's continuous, so I decided to just sit down and do this voiceover anyway. But yeah, I hope it's not too annoying. I guess I'll have to deal with that whenever I'm going to edit this voiceover. But yeah, if you hear a little bit of like a humming sound or something in the background, that's construction. I'm so sorry, but yeah, that's what it is sometimes. Here in the community garden, I also decided to do a little pond. I thought that was really cute. One of my friends actually suggested I add a pond here in the garden, and I thought that was so cute because then Sims can actually do some fishing as well. I placed the pre-stocked fishing sign in the pond as well, so I think it's functional. Your Sims can probably fish there. I did playtest this build for the most part, but I didn't actually try the fishing now that I'm seeing that pond being created. You know, I didn't actually do that, but I think it's fine. And then, yeah, I just created a bunch of, or placed a bunch of planter pots and planter boxes. We have some picnic tables out there. I thought it'd be so cute for Sims to just, you know, do some gardening and then just stay for a little picnic in the garden. I thought that was going to be so cute. I also placed some beehive type things, like some bee boxes, I think is what they're called, outside. And then inside I placed some of the insect thingies from, I think those are from Eco Lifestyle. So I placed a couple of those in there as well. So your Sims can actually like tend the bees or like do beekeeping. And also maybe they can like take care of the insects. I don't know. Maybe that's fun for your Sims. It wouldn't be fun for me. I think the insects are kind of gross, but you know, I'm very squeamish when it comes to those types of things. So that's probably me. But whenever I have my Sims actually use those and like fill it with like beetles or grubs or whatever, it's just like, oh, it creeps me out a little bit. It gives me the ick. But yeah, Sims do enjoy it for the most part. So that's kind of cute to do that. I obviously also had to place a couple of trash bins outside. I just really like the green trash bins. We don't have a lot of green trash bins up until now because we got a few from the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. So we have a few of those now. So that was really cool because, you know, green bins, like green outdoor bins in the community garden, it just makes sense. So I was happy about that. I know there's a base game one in debug as well, but I just wanted a functional one that was green and just a little thing that makes me really happy. Obviously I had to go through and make it eco-friendly. So I placed a few solar panels on the roof. And then obviously I was looking at this as I was building this over on stream and I was like, it's missing something. It's looking a little sad, a little empty. I'm not sure what's going on. And then someone suggested string lights. And of course, that's exactly what it was missing. So I went around and placed a bunch of little string lights and some extra decorations out here from the greenhouse greenhouse Oasis? I don't know. The greenhouse kit, you know, that one. I placed a bunch of decorations from that greenhouse kit around, obviously, because that was perfect for the little garden. And then I did some extra, I guess, landscaping here around the build, trying to blend it in with the surrounding area. It's very urban. Very city-like, lots of concrete, but obviously I had to create some planter boxes and like some tree areas just with like a little low stone fence. So that's what I did. So there's enough green patches kind of around. And then in the back, I decided to go for a small parking lot. I thought that was really cute and I had the perfect space for it right here to create a little parking area. So that's what I went ahead and did. By the way, I also essentially built this backwards on the lot because the area where I'm furnishing or decorating the parking lot right now is actually originally the front of the lot, but I decided to build it backwards. So I'm using the back of the lot as the front because the lighting was a lot prettier that way. And I just, you know, for screenshot purposes, it was just nice to have some direct sunlight at the front of the lot. So I decided to build it backwards. I kind of like it better that way as well. I don't know why, but I feel like that orientation makes more sense here. Maybe that's just me, but maybe I'm just trying to make excuses for my decisions, but you know, I liked it this way. So I decided to build it backwards, but that does unfortunately mean that it looks really sad on the gallery because on the gallery you have a screenshot of the back of the lot, which is still cute because there's a cute parking lot. And I also ended up placing a debug little bus station, which is so cute, like a little bus stop, a bus station. I feel like that's a very literal Dutch translation. Maybe it makes sense in English, I don't know. But a little bus stop, I found a debug bus stop. I think it's from Loft, if I'm not mistaken, and it was absolutely perfect. So I was able to place that in the back, but I did that a little later. And then here I was looking for some city kind of decorations, like some posters, some information, little stands, if that makes any sense. So that's what I went with. And yeah, so I tried to kind of blend it in with the rest of the world that way. And I think I succeeded. I really like how it looks. And I don't know, I feel like it blends in with the rest of the world pretty seamlessly, and I think it looks cute. But then after that, we are moving on to the inside. Now, I know it's annoying, but I did cut out me creating the floor plan because it took me a hot minute, and it kept changing over time. Like I had decided on a floor plan, but then I realized that it didn't work or that it wasn't good for the windows. So I kind of like placed windows and adjusted the floor plan, and then placed more windows and then adjusted the floor plan. So I just couldn't make sense of that footage in a speed build form, so I decided to just get rid of it. But I'll kind of talk you through it, and obviously at the end of the video I will also give you a tour in real time, just like in the game, so we can kind of go over everything in real time so you'll get a sense of it. But basically at the front of the lot there will be a front door, and when you first walk into it you'll have this little cafe, which obviously I always have to add a cafe. We've been over this whenever I have a chance for a small business, or if it's a combined community lot of whatever kind, I will add a cafe. I will find an excuse, I will find a way. And so I did that for this one as well, and I think it's really cute, and it makes a lot of sense because you can just like hang out here before or after your art class and just have some coffee with your friends from the class, or like meet some other people from the other classes, or hang out with the teachers. Whatever it is you want to do, you can just kind of hang out and grab a coffee and, you know, just enjoy the vibes here. And I was overall definitely going for a more industrial type of vibe because, for one, it just really fits the converted warehouse kind of vibe that we're going for anyway. So obviously I kind of tried to continue that same style on the inside of the lot as well. So I was going for lots of black and a lot of exposed brick. I essentially just used that throughout this entire build. I just felt like that was really pretty, like the red brownish exposed brick, and then the gray concrete floors I just feel like is so pretty. And here in the cafe I used a bunch of furniture and decorations from the industrial loft kit because that was just the perfect style, like the perfect stuff to use in here. And I especially just love the swatch of those bar stools that I'm using from the industrial loft kit. I love the like burnt orange on the seat, and then the light wood and the dark green metal is just, it's such a pretty color combination, and I was very excited to use them because I haven't used the stuff from that kit in a while actually, and it was more than perfect in here. I used a bunch of windows from the pack as well, and some decals. Those vents kind of things that I placed hanging from the ceiling obviously are from that kit as well. So yeah, that was really fun, and it combines really nicely with the businesses and hobbies items actually. So yeah, that's what I used in here. And then by the front door I placed a ticket kiosk, obviously because the way this small business would work, I think, is you just kind of pay maybe a one-time entry fee, and then maybe your Sims can just go from there. If they want to take part in classes, I think they actually have to pay for that. So, you know, it's kind of fair to maybe just have a one-time fee to use all the facilities in here and then pay separately for the class. Or if they just want to like practice their pottery or practice their painting or whatever other skills, then that's obviously free. So if you set a one-time entry fee, or an hourly one for that matter, I feel like that's fair. I think that makes sense. And then, like I said, for classes, they would probably have to pay. I've done more gameplay as a small business owner than I have as a customer, to be fair. I've done a little bit of customer gameplay, but more so like actually teaching the hobby class and like getting paid for it and like doing the lectures and all that kind of stuff and like sell things. But I haven't really done a lot of gameplay from the customer's perspective. I've done a little bit of it. I think I've done like a class or two and like maybe purchased some items. So yeah, that is what I have tried, but not a whole lot of it. But I feel like from a customer's perspective, this would still make a lot of sense. I think this would be really fun. Obviously, if you want to play from a customer's perspective, you will have to go through and set it up as a small business first. So you'll have to have a sim actually own this small business and set it up with the proper business activities and like the proper name for it, and maybe target group for customers and all that stuff. Like you do have to go through that, but I feel like that's a pretty quick process. And then after that, when it's all set up, you can just go to another household, play with them, and actually visit this as a customer. So it does work, but you do have to do some setting up for the gameplay, obviously, yourself. But yeah, here in the area, you can see that after the cafe, we just have a really small hallway that basically leads you to all the other areas or like rooms in this art center. So out here, I started off by decorating a cute little shop. I thought that would be really nice because, you know, there's lots of art going on in this build, and maybe this is where people that created the art can sell it, or maybe this is just a little shop where the shop owner who's probably a very talented artist themselves. Maybe they sell their own stuff in this store. I'm not exactly sure how the concept behind this store would work, but I feel like it makes sense that, you know, maybe they sell some art here. So I thought that a cute little shop area was nice. So yeah, obviously everything in here also is very black and gray and exposed brick and just very industrial. And I made sure to place a bunch of display shelves. We also have a hanging one for Sims to actually sell some paintings that they make in the art class, but I feel like it could be cute to, I know that used to be a thing way back in the day. I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but for a little while, at least here where I live, for a while it was kind of trendy to basically rent out a shelf or two in like a concept store type thing, and then you could like sell your art. You wouldn't actually have to work in the store, but you could just rent out a couple of shelves and put your stuff for sale and put the proper prices and stuff, and then the shop owner, when your stuff has been sold, the shop owner kind of like pays you whatever the people paid for your art, but then obviously they also keep a little bit of it because you like rent a shelf, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that's making any sense, but I know that used to be a thing here, and that's kind of how I was thinking of this shop as well, where people that create art in the classes or just create art on their own, they can kind of rent a shelf or like a display area here and sell their own stuff. I don't know. I thought maybe something like that would be really cute. So that's sort of what I was thinking of as I was decorating this store. But yeah, the store is fairly simple. We just have some counters. I did place a cashier thingy. I'm totally lost on the word for that right now, but you know what I mean. It's actually from Get to Work, so it's not functional in this build, but I thought for decorative purposes, it was the perfect little item to place in the store. And then across from the store, we actually have a really small employee only area. I really wanted to make sure I didn't forget to add in one of those. So I sort of immediately, well, not immediately, but pretty early on in the build, I actually sat down and decorated this because I was like, I need to really not forget about this, especially if you're doing the gameplay here as the shop owner. There's no apartment or anything attached to this one, so this wouldn't be a live-in small business where they essentially run it from home. This would be one that you own on a separate lot. So for that reason, it's extra important to actually have a little employee-only area with a kitchenette. I didn't go for full-on kitchen because I don't think that's necessary. They can just grab some quick meals or maybe make themselves like a garden salad or something and store it in the fridge. And then that's enough. I feel like it doesn't have to be fancy, but I did place a table with some bar stools and obviously just like a little love seat to sort of hang out, an area for the employees to store their coats or like hang their coats or whatever. So yeah, that's what I did. And then after that, I moved on to the arts area. So the way this layout works is it's basically a pottery studio and a paint studio in one. So it's a really big space here. And this is actually a double ceiling area. You can't really tell that right now. Because we're obviously decorating on the ground floor, but this is like a double ceiling open area, and the staircase leads you up to the loft, which is where we'll have the kids play section and also the music rooms, obviously, but those are like separate rooms. But yeah, this is a really nice, very large open space with a bunch of windows, so we have really pretty natural light coming through. I just really love this open art space. I just really think it's gorgeous. And I sort of tried to create like a separation between the pottery area and the painting area by, well, for one, just placing that whiteboard, of course, and then also placing the divider in the middle of the space. So that's what I did to sort of divide the two spaces, but I really like that it's not all super separated and in its own little room. I kind of like that it's open and people can be inspired by each other and they can just have little chit chats. Obviously, it wouldn't make the most sense to have a pottery class, like a pottery lecture and also a painting lecture going on at the same time. I feel like that would be sort of scheduled. But for the most part, if it's just Sims painting for practice, Sims doing pottery for practice, for fun, without a class being actively held at that time, I feel like it's nice to just have all the artistic Sims kind of like hang out together in this space. And just basically just be inspired by each other and like chat with each other. And I don't know, I just really like this creative industrial space here. So for the painting area, it obviously has its own whiteboard. I placed 4 easels. At first I had placed 6, but I felt like that was a little bit much, so I decided to go with 4 easels instead, and I placed a nice little stool in the middle. We could just kind of pretend that maybe that's for a sim to like sit and model there. I used a lot of the items actually from the artist studio kit, because obviously that was perfect for this painting studio, like art studio type of area. So I used a lot of stuff from that kit and it was so perfect in here. So yeah, all the little easels and paint supplies, and I'm so happy that we have some clutter now, like some dirty paint brushes and whatnot from the artist studio kit. I'm so happy that we have that now, because that's the perfect stuff to sort of bring a space like this, like make it come to life a little bit more, give it some more personality. So yeah, obviously I had to go through and do that, but for the most part also, I really kept an eye on this area being spacious enough, there being more than enough space for routing, you know, because for actual gameplay purposes, I feel like lots like this do tend to get a little crowded from time to time, especially when there is a lot to do. So, you know, I really tried to keep an eye on keeping everything gameplay friendly, keeping it more spaciously set up, so that routing wouldn't necessarily become an issue, but obviously you'll have to go and like play with this and then we'll have to see. I did do play testing obviously, but only for like a day or two. So, you know, it kind of depends on your save file, obviously also how crowded it will get. But yeah, I placed some really cute aprons and stuff on the wall. I thought that was really cute. And then I decided to place a sign. And then here I actually had some of my roof like eaves peeking through the wall. That's just such an annoying glitch. It does that for pretty much all the eaves. I think there's only like 1 or 2 eave styles that won't clip through your walls, but these eaves did. But I really didn't want to swap them out because I think they're so pretty. So I decided to turn it into a feature where I just placed some really cute string lights basically like across the eaves to make it look like a feature. Like that was supposed to look that way. You know, I just tried to do that, and it's obviously not perfect, but I really do like those little lights up there. And then, of course, up here is where we have the children's area. I know safety-wise, you know, kids will sort of climb over that half wall, and it's probably very dangerous. In real life, you would probably ideally not want to have a kid space up here by this half wall where they can climb over and fall over the edge. You know, it's really not very safe. Thankfully, this is The Sims, so we don't actually have to think about that kind of stuff because it doesn't happen. So, you know, I thought this was actually perfect if the single parent, for example, is like taking their pottery class downstairs and they are bringing their kid along, and then the kid can just like hang out up here and maybe do some art on their own. And I was definitely thinking that maybe they would have one employee that's maybe on kids area duty for a little while, where they hang out up here and hang out with the children. Maybe give them a little art class or something, or just like draw with them, or, you know, just pay attention and look after the kids in the kids area. I thought that would be really cute. I don't actually know if you can assign like an employee task that has to do with taking care of children, but I think so, because you can somehow also build daycares and stuff, which I still really want to do as well. I've seen a bunch of comments from people asking if I could build a daycare, and I definitely still want to do that. It's on my list, so it's definitely still coming at some point. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there as well. But up here, basically behind the kids area, we have a hallway leading you into 2 separate music classes. So starting off with the piano music class here, I just placed a couple of pianos sort of back to back and also a keyboard. I placed a whiteboard in here so piano classes can actually take place in here, like lectures or hobby classes. Both, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, I made sure to place a couple of instruments in there for that reason as well. And just some really cute high school tables and chairs, because I could definitely see like music theory, also like music theory lessons and stuff up here. I thought that was very realistic. So it's not only the fun playing piano part when it comes to those classes, I think it's also a bunch of music theory, music, how to read music, like stuff like that. So, you know, I did that. And then next to the piano classroom, we have a guitar classroom, which is a little bit smaller because guitars just don't take up that much space. But I did do the same thing here, where we have a whiteboard and a couple of tables and chairs. And then essentially I just placed a bunch of guitars in the room to really make clear that this is a guitar classroom. I just wasn't exactly sure what to do here. So I just placed a couple of chairs, like an instructor's chair and then a couple of student chairs, I guess, where they can sit down and actually play. And then also a couple of school benches, obviously, for the the theoretical part of the class, maybe. And then after that, we actually kind of moved back to the ground floor, which I know is a little bit, is a little bit chaotic. But I have this space here on the side of the lot downstairs that I basically, well, didn't necessarily forget to decorate it, but for some reason I just moved on to the upstairs area first. But this is where we have the candle making and also some woodworking, and this has its own door basically to the outside. It feels a little bit more connected to the community garden, so I felt like this area was perfect for some more, I guess, outdoorsy activities, even though like woodworking and candle making aren't necessarily outdoorsy, but for some reason it feels like it makes sense to me that they're closer to the garden. I don't know if that's making any sense at all, but I felt like this like side bump out sort of garage little area was perfect for these two activities. So I decided to go ahead and place those in here. Again, really kept an eye on keeping everything spacious enough for routing to not be problematic. So we have 3 woodworking benches and then I think 4 total candle making stations, if I'm not mistaken. And then we're moving on to basically the rooftop where we have this, I guess you could almost call it a shed sort of here on top of the roof, where I actually decided to place a couple of flower arranging tables, but also storage. So this area up here, I will say, I feel like at this point my brain was getting kind of fried and I wasn't sure what to do up here anymore besides storage, but I still wanted it to sort of be functional. So I decided to go ahead and place a couple of flower arrangement tables and also some planters here on the roof. So maybe this is particularly where Sims can tend to flowers that they want to use for their little bouquets and stuff that they're working on. So we have a couple of planters here, also some vertical ones, and also some picnic tables up here. I thought that was cute. And then obviously on the roof, we also had to have some telescopes. So I did that, and I thought it was nice to have a grill. I thought that was cute. But then that's going to be it for this build. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you this build in real time. So here we have the lot in the game. I've been playing Inslee for a few days and already I'm getting my controls mixed up. It's so weird. I keep scrolling in like the opposite direction. It's crazy. I need to play Sims more. Anyway, this is what it looks like in the area. And like I said, I did build it backwards. This is actually the back of this lot. This is supposed to be the front, but I feel like it looks really cute from this side as well. So I feel like that's okay. But I really tried to blend it into the surrounding area to the best of my abilities. And I feel like it looks really nice. We just have some trees, we have some bikes parked, some city-like decorations, and then on the side here is obviously where we have the community garden. So it kind of speaks for itself. We just have a bunch of planters, picnic tables, really cute fairy lights. In the back here is where we have that little shed with some extra planters in it, and there is also a really small orchard on this side. There's some bee boxes out here as well. And then let's go inside. So you enter through the front door out here, obviously, and then you go into, oh God, I'm getting my controls mixed up. It's so weird. You enter into the cafe here. So in here, you can just grab yourself a coffee. We have this counter here, obviously, and then just a bunch of tables and chairs. This is also where you would check into the business by using this ticket kiosk. And obviously I had to place this really nice table here by the window so you can grab your coffee and like enjoy the view out here. And off of the cafe is where we have some bathrooms as well. They're really nice and spacious, so I was actually able to use the bathroom stalls in here that I haven't used before, so you know, it was nice to have a chance to use those. And then we also have some sinks, obviously, and just some mirrors and all your regular bathroom stuff. Then through this door here is where you enter this hallway, and this is essentially where the arts center area starts. So we have some vending machines here for snacks, and then off to your right is where we have this little store. I basically pre-stocked it with some debug stuff. Some items have been sold when I was playtesting, so we have a couple of empty shelves, but I think that's okay. And you can also hang your Sims paintings here that they make in art class. Across from the store is where we have the employee only area. This is really not very interesting. It's just a little kitchenette and some seating. And then here at the end of the hallway is is where we have the candle making and woodworking. So we have a little candle making area here with some sinks and some aprons and obviously 4 candle making stations. And then over here is where we have a few woodworking benches as well. And then through this door is where you enter into the really open, spacious art area here. So as you can see, this is like a double ceiling moment where we have this this loft going on, which makes it feel so like airy and open, and there's so many windows, which is obviously perfect. So over here is where we have a few pottery tables. We have some kilns, only 2. So I feel like with 6 pottery tables, 2 kilns is not really that many. So you could obviously always see if you can place another one, but for the layout 2 just worked a little better. There is a bunch of aprons on the wall here, which I just feel like is so cute. And then there is a whiteboard for classes and lectures. And then on the other side of the area is where we have the paint space. So this is where we have a bunch of easels. You can see that Sims have been coming through and actually creating some paintings here, but no one's quite finished. And we just have some like paint decorations. We have this little setup over here, some dirty paint brushes by the sink, some more storage over here, and then obviously also a whiteboard for classes and lectures, and a few sinks. And under the staircase is where we have some storage for canvases and whatnot. Then going upstairs is where we have the kids area. So there's a bunch of creativity tables here. They can sit and do some reading. There are some building blocks here, and just an area for parents maybe to hang out. And off of the kids area is another bathroom. I felt like that's pretty convenient, you know, for kids to be close to bathrooms. And then for the rest, there is a hallway up here separating the kids area from the music rooms. I felt like this was so cute. It's almost like a school hallway where maybe you can just sit down and wait for your class to start. There is a vending machine here as well. And then this is the piano classroom. So again, a whiteboard, a bunch of pianos, a bunch of books as well. And then for the rest, there's really not a lot to it. And the same goes for the guitar classroom over here. We just have a bunch of guitars, a whiteboard, obviously some speakers and some books. And then through this little door here is where we have the staircase going up to the rooftop. So over here is where we have some storage and a couple of flower arranging tables. And then you can just hang out on the roof here, maybe do some planting, you know, take care of some flowers that you want to use for flower arranging. You can hang out here at the picnic tables, do some grilling. You know, Sims will go up here and do all the grilling. So you can always just delete that grill, but I thought it was classic. And then obviously some telescopes on the roof, which is a really fun activity. But then that is actually it for this lot. So this art center and garden is up on the gallery. As you can see, it's backwards, and also one of my windows is glitched in the screenshot. So that's just a little bit sad, but I think that's okay. You got a pretty good sense of what it looks like here through the screenshots anyway. I built it on a 50 by 40 in the world of Nordhaven as a residential, but then you can obviously turn it into a small business venue yourself. So yeah, if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's going to do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download this build off the gallery, like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is SimmerySims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is SimmerySims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notified every single time I upload, just click that little bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/SimmerySims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!